Sonic Movie 3 was brilliant, and clearly I'm not the only one who thinks so, but there were a couple things that rubbed me the wrong way. When I made my video on the differences between the games, I hadn't seen the third movie yet, and said Gunn was founded between the events of the first and second movie because of Sonic and Robotnik, because that's literally what was said in the second movie.
After the events in San Francisco, a global task force was created, devoted to protecting our planet from alien threats. That day, Guardian Units of Nations was born.
G-U-N... Seriously?
Gunn, yeah.
Well, somebody seemed to have forgotten that. Also, I understand fully that a lot of the more out there sci-fi and mystical or cartoony aspects of the game series, like Space Colony Arc, are fully absent for the sake of making the movie world feel more realistic. And then proceeds to have the characters breathing perfectly fine in space without oxygen. Never mind, throw reasoning out the window! Those two things annoy me, but they are really minor nitpicks that don't really hinder mine or anyone else's enjoyment of the movie. I showed up to the cinema wearing Shadow's shoes and found it impossible to sit still when Live and Learn started playing. But there is one aspect of the movie that really bothers me, that actually did take me out of the movie for a bit and doesn't really make much sense to me. Not narratively nor logically, and kinda spits in the face of movie 2. You may be awesome, but if you dare insult movie 2 in front of me, the gloves come off! In the script, I spelled there T-H-E-R-E instead of D-A-R-E. What the hell? Okay, maybe that's a bit much. Let me explain. In Sonic Movie 2, we are introduced to the Master Emerald and how in this continuity it's created by forging together the 7 Chaos Emeralds. The Chaos Emeralds are never brought up again or elaborated on, as the Master Emerald is the main focus of the story, but of course fans of the games would know all too much about the 7 Chaos Emeralds and what they are capable of. The movie version of the Master Emerald is able to grant ultimate power to the user, as seen with the Echidna Warrior in the flashback and Robotnik in the final act of the movie. And in one of the most memorable moments of Sonic Movie 2, the Master Emerald, probably after Robotnik abused its power and a hefty fall to the ground, the emerald's glow and green colour fade away as it starts to shatter, revealing the smaller Chaos Emeralds inside. And in this emotional moment where Sonic, Tom and Maddie embrace thinking they're about to be crushed, we are instead met with the epic reveal of Super Sonic. After Sonic relinquishes the power, sending the emeralds out of his body, Knuckles repairs the Master Emerald. Skipping to Movie 3, Sonic forcefully takes the Master Emerald from Wade and, uses it to turn into Super Sonic. Wait, hold on. Does something not add up to you guys? Some of you may be thinking, why, what's wrong with this? The Master Emerald is made out of Chaos Emeralds, so when Sonic uses it, it turns into the Chaos Emeralds and he becomes Super Sonic.
That makes sense to me.
Well, here's the thing. The Master Emerald isn't made out of the Chaos Emeralds anymore. Sonic didn't use the Master Emerald to go Super last time. The Master Emerald didn't turn into Chaos Emeralds. It shattered into pieces, revealing the Chaos Emeralds inside, which Sonic then used to go Super. So if the Chaos Emeralds separated from the Master Emerald, why are they part of the Master Emerald now? And I've had so many people either replying to me on Twitter or discussing with me on Discord saying, well, don't you remember, after Sonic turns back to normal, Knuckles puts the emeralds back together, reforging them into the Master Emerald again. Now, if this is how you remember that scene going, please, I want to do an experiment. So right now, I want you to pause the video and comment right now if you do or don't remember this happening. Okay? You done? Alright. Because if you did, I must inform you, that never happened. If you look at the scene where the Master Emerald shatters, you can see a pile of colourless shards with the smaller coloured emeralds among them. And when Sonic relinquishes the emeralds, much like in the games, and the Dragon Balls, the 7 emeralds shoot off into the sky and fly off, and that's the last we saw of them. And what Knuckles picks up is clearly not Chaos Emeralds, just the broken outer casing of what was the Master Emerald. And much like in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, Knuckles reforms all the pieces back together, and clearly there's much more to it than just being an empty shell because its green glow returns. And at this point in time, the Master Emerald and the 7 Chaos Emeralds are now separate entities from one another, just like the games. Does the Master Emerald have leftover power without the Chaos Emeralds inside it? Does it still work? I have many questions. I look forward to this being revealed and explored in future, like the Knuckles series. Oh, it never appears in the series? Okay. They could have even leaned into the concept of the Master Emerald being the controller of the Chaos Emeralds, but I guess never mind. But now, there's Chaos Emeralds on Earth. What storytelling possibilities could this lead to, given everything an individual emerald on its own has been used for in the games? Oh, what's this? A post-credit scene? And it teases Shadow the Hedgehog? Shadow is a character heavily tied to the Chaos Emeralds. He often uses one to power himself up and use abilities like Chaos Control. And they look like they're setting that up for the third movie. Oh boy, hindsight sure is something, isn't it? So in movie 3, the Chaos Emeralds are not part of the plot and never so much as name dropped. And Shadow never uses Chaos Control, which is so bizarre to me. That's his signature ability, which he's used in almost every appearance he's had. That's Very strange. Halfway through the movie, Maddie suggests Sonic use the Master Emerald to go Golden God mode, indicating the characters don't actually know how Supersonic worked, but given they are characters in a story who only saw Supersonic once in a tense moment, and Tom nor Maddie probably didn't even see the Chaos Emeralds when they powered up Sonic, as all three had their eyes closed and probably didn't notice or remember the emeralds among the huge glow of light, they didn't watch the scene 50 times like I did. And since Robotnik used the Master Emerald to power himself up with godly powers as well, it's an easy assumption Sonic must have done the same. And Maddie bringing up using the Master Emerald for Golden God mode was a setup for later in the movie where Sonic decides to take matters into his own hands, because without it, Supersonic would have just come out of nowhere, having no connection to this movie's story so far, given how important Supersonic and Super Shadow are in the final act of the movie, which kinda still astonishes me that the Chaos Emeralds weren't an involved part of the plot either. When watching the scene where Sonic takes the Master Emerald from Wade, I was very curious. I wondered what was going to happen here. Sonic plans to use Supersonic, but we the viewers, or at least those who watched the last movie, would know the Chaos Emeralds that turned Sonic into Supersonic are no longer a part of the Master Emerald. We don't even know what the Master Emerald can still do since being reformed without them. And in the span of a frame, the Master Emerald becomes the 7 Chaos Emeralds and Sonic transforms into Supersonic. What? No, really, I audibly in the cinema said, what? Sonic Movie 3 just flat out ignored the ending of Sonic Movie 2. Why? I mean, these movies aren't flawless, there's a handful of plot holes and inconsistencies here and there, but none like this! Jeff Fowler and the team working on these go out of their way to show their passion for telling, investing, character-driven stories and want to show their respect to the source material while still doing their own take on stuff, but they just flat out ignored their own thing. This isn't a blink and you miss detail. Movie 2 goes out of its way to show you the Master Emerald shattering, showing you the Chaos Emeralds are now separate from it. Sonic didn't even try to use them. They came to him, which is also a strong tie to the games where the emeralds have come to their user when needed. Chaos Emeralds work in mysterious ways we don't fully understand, but there are some rules. The Chaos Emeralds can feel and respond to thoughts and feelings and reflect them back into power based on the user's heart. This was established in Sonic Adventure, showcased by Chaos becoming Perfect Chaos and Sonic becoming Supersonic. In the scene, Sonic is huddled with Tom and Maddie, it's emotional, he wants to protect them, but he knows there's nothing he can do. The three of them as a family say they love each other and brace themselves for the inevitable, and almost immediately the Chaos Emeralds start reacting on their own, clearly responding to Sonic's thoughts and feelings in the moment, manifesting as the Golden Supersonic. And they even fly towards Sonic and enter his body through his chest, right where his heart is. Little more than symbolic at this point. This transformation stands in stark contrast to what happens when Robotnik used the Master Emerald. You see, the movie has already established its own rules and the differences between the power of the Master Emerald, the way the Echidna is envisioned for the ultimate power, and the Chaos Emeralds reflecting the user into power. Which is why seeing Sonic use the Master Emerald and just turning into the Chaos Emeralds for him to go super just feels so shallow. I really wonder what happened behind the scenes that led to these decisions. And this is probably just me, maybe you guys watching don't feel the same way, but it also feels really heartbreaking seeing both Supersonic and Super Shadow used in this way. Yes, there was gonna be no version of this without the big Super Saiyan vs Super Saiyan fight. I know audiences and the studio needed to see it, but for me, seeing both Sonic and Shadow using these forms fueled by rage and vengeance, those are the feelings that created Perfect Chaos. The grotesque, monstrous form created by the negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds manifested by reflecting Chaos's feelings of hate, the pain, anger, and the hurt. Does that description sound vaguely familiar to you? And in both adventure games, the Super Transformation was used to contrast those dark feelings. To me at least, Supersonic and Super Shadow are a symbol of hope. Those forms have always been used for selfless reasons. Supersonic, again, is a manifestation of Sonic's thoughts and feelings. A clear mind, a brave and kind heart with the intention to stop a threat and protect others, especially those he cares about. Also making the Fleetway version of Supersonic pretty ironic, but that's a discussion for another time. Sonic isn't a character to give into darkness. Whether you call it determination or pure stubbornness, he will always stick to his beliefs and ideals no matter the cost. Not through pain, not through high stakes, and that's one of the many things appealing about his character, even if he's a bit of a smartass. A memorable concept in the series comes from an episode of Sonic X Season 3 where they experimented and gave us a very brief glimpse of what would happen if Sonic loses it. Sonic, backed into a corner not being able to do anything to help his friends while being taunted about it, suddenly turns a much darker tone of blue, and out of nowhere suddenly has the power to take out his foes. And before the dust clears, we are met with a never before seen form resembling the outline of Supersonic, but dark, with no pupils in his eyes. and Sonic is snapped out of this by his own nemesis Eggman calling him out. The episode never outright explains what that was or why it happened, but the most commonly accepted explanation is that the room was filled with fake Chaos Emeralds, unstable copies of the original which Sonic pulls the energy from to take that form. And given what I've just explained to you about how the regular Chaos Emeralds work, that would mean this form is the manifestation of his anger and hatred, dubbed by fans as Dark Sonic or Dark Super Sonic. But of course, with Sonic X not being canon to the main series, Sonic's never been taken in that direction. The movie version of Sonic is different directly because of the stories they want to tell. Sonic is flawed, but continues to grow and develop across these movies, taking life lessons from his experiences and the people around him. And building on that, while he did slip up, it led to him coming to his own senses and realizing revenge isn't what he wants and goes against everything he's learned from Tom and Longclaw, coming to his own conclusions, which is what wins over Shadow. And as for Shadow, in Sonic Adventure 2, we see all through the game that Shadow is driven by his anger and vengeance, and while he thinks he wants to follow the Professor's plan to wipe out humanity for Maria's sake, his true nature keeps slipping through the cracks, which is ultimately what sets him on his path for redemption, the very thing that sets him apart from the likes of the Bio-Lizard, which represented everything Shadow was built up to be but simply wasn't, leading to the reveal of his super transformation. Shadow's super transformation exists as a result of his change of heart and is the physical manifestation of his awakened desire to atone for his and the Professor's mistake, and to do the right thing by all the innocent lives below that don't deserve to be taken the way Maria's was, to the point of not caring that using up all his energy may kill him. There's a lot of metaphors for light and the darkness with Shadow, which is visually highlighted by his super form, and I love that. And I want you to think about this. Every alternative ending from Shadow 05 ends with Shadow having all 7 Chaos Emeralds, whether he's collected them to use their power to serve Black Doom or to take over the world himself, but he never once uses them to turn super, even when implied to use them to crush anyone in his way. And there's a reason for that, which is a common theme across all alternate endings. None of them are Shadow's true path, suffering from amnesia, being misled, being told what his purpose is or isn't. So when playing through the game's true final story, it's where these events play out that Shadow is under no misconceptions of who he is, where his mind is clear and he understands what his mission is, that his full potential as Super Shadow is unleashed, and in such a triumphant manner. Shadow in that moment is a symbol of hope for everyone on Earth. And before anyone asks, let me clarify, I'm not trying to say Sonic and Shadow can't go super if they aren't thinking the right thoughts, or are currently feeling angry or negative, or that they could risk a dark, corrupted transformation. There's no actual source from the games that says anything like this, but I don't think it's something we need an answer for, nor is it a concept I believe they'll ever explore. Sonic and Shadow can always use the Chaos Emeralds to go super. It's their signature transformations after all. And what I've described with Shadow's positive character arc is mostly implied. But I really love how the narratives of these games showcase through their storytelling how the unlimited power of the Chaos Emeralds translate to their users. As quoted in Sonic Adventure, the servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos's power enriched by the heart. And as cool as Super Sonic and Super Shadow was in the movie, I would have preferred it much more if Super Sonic and Super Shadow didn't appear until Live and Learn started playing. You know what? Let's have some fun with this. Let me share my own take on how I would change Sonic 3 to fix this, but still keep the movie mostly intact. Starting off, we need the Chaos Emeralds to be relevant to the plot. At the start of the movie, let's have Tails find a Chaos Emerald and show it to the other characters, much like he does in both adventure games. This would serve as a reintroduction to the Chaos Emeralds in this movie, one given to Sonic by Commander Walters, and the other locked in a vault the Eggmen try to steal. Eggmen. So let's replace them with Chaos Emeralds too, as they play the same role in Sonic Adventure 2. You know what, let's make it so that the prison base at the start of the movie was also using the Chaos Emerald as a power source and is stolen by Shadow during his escape, which is a perfect opportunity for him to showcase Chaos Control during the movie. And maybe Gerald already had another when recruiting his grandson. And just like SA2, let's make it so instead of the one key card, the gun vault could have multiple Chaos Emeralds. Tails has his stolen by Shadow right after Tom is injured, leaving the bad guys with all 7 emeralds, enough to power up the Eclipse Cannon, leading to Sonic deciding to resort to using the power of the Master Emerald as he originally did, but this time, when Sonic takes the emerald from Wade, something different happens. Instead of becoming Super Sonic, holding the emerald causes green electricity to pulse through Sonic's body, replacing the usual blue, and his fur starts to darken. He has undergone the same transformation Robotnik went through in the second movie. This is the movie version of Dark Sonic. Hey look, if the movie's mid-credits can pull from the Fleetway comics, then Sonic X is fair game. And the following scenes play out as normal. I guess I gotta cut the shot of Eggman looking at the quill turn from blue to gold, even though that was a pretty cool moment as well as highlighting his dramatic feelings towards Supersonic. Oh yeah, if you didn't pick up on it, the reason he let himself go was because he'd just given up on his evil schemes, thinking, what's the point if Sonic can go Golden God mode and destroy anything in an instant? There was like a deleted scene or something where he gets like surgery in Mexico. But maybe we can save this for later. Sonic bursts through the glass as before, but this time taking both Shadow and the Chaos Emeralds with him, and when they fight, I want to have Shadow actually attempt to hold his own in his base form against Dark Sonic for a bit before knocking the Emerald out of him, and instead of the two Super Hedgehogs fighting it out, we could make it a mad dash for whoever can get to the Master Emerald and its power first, ultimately leading to Sonic getting it back and knocking Shadow to the moon as he did originally, with Dark Sonic now standing over Shadow with the Chaos Emeralds hovering above his hand as if threatening to use them. Of course, just like the original version, he can't bring himself to do it, leading up to things playing out the same way they did. Except this time, just like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Movie 2 before this, when the first note of Live and Learn starts, the 7 emeralds immediately react as if called, and then circle around Sonic and Shadow. While the scene is mostly the same, it now hits very differently because this time, it's the first time we see Super Sonic return and the first moment we see Super Shadow. Both their hearts are in the right place now, and it's time to do the right thing. We cut back to the Robotniks fighting each other, and now Eggman notices the quill turning from blue to gold, which serves as the distraction for Gerald knocking him off the side, and the remainder of the movie plays out the same. I hope you liked the video. What movie content should I talk about next? Maybe my thoughts on where the mid-credits scene could lead. Stay tuned, and stay awesome.